This is an ABC podcast.
Hello there, Sammy J here, and welcome to my podcast. I've never had a podcast before. I always felt like they're too long and self-indulgent and I run out of time to listen to them. So here's the deal. This one's going to be quick, short, sharp, tasty, and like any good snack, it'll leave you both unfulfilled but still curiously craving more. So you might not know this, but when I'm not dressing up in yoga clothes or getting sued by the creators of Play School, I also host The Breakfast Show on ABC Radio Melbourne. But I'm not naive. I know most people don't get up at 5:30 to listen. I mean, I probably wouldn't get up at that hour unless I was on the radio. So that's where this podcast comes in, because each week I'm going to pick a few of my favourite moments and seal them up and serve them up just for you.
You're listening to the Sammy J Snack Pack. Yum, yum.
So, if we have a look inside today's snack pack, I can see we're going to have a debate with Jamila Rizvi about whether Disney is sexist or not. We're going to chat to Barry Cassidy about religion and politics. That'll be spicy. We've got a cheeky little song about contact tracing, particularly when you're a parent of young kids. But first, why don't we welcome comedy legend Bill Bailey. Bill, everyone's got petty little gripes that consume them on a daily basis, and I'm assuming you're no different. So what's yours?
If you're going to say something which particularly has got my goat today, and I'll tell you what it is, and that is, trying to order stuff online, right? Mm. And they're just desperate to get every last scrap of information out of you. You have to register and sign up and subscribe to the website and the whole thing. And I just want the thing. That's literally all I want is the thing. And I tell you what it was I was buying today, right? It's sort of particular to this, the situation we're in. It was a clamp, right, that holds a mobile phone and clamps it to a mic stand, right? Uh-huh. That's what it does. Because I'm doing so many Zoom calls and Zoom conferences and gigs and Skype calls and God knows what, I got fed up with literally gaffer taping my phone to a stick.
You're a man of means. You can afford a proper mounted phone now.
I could, yes, exactly. I've been making do with a little phone mount that I gaffer taped to a thing. I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm going to have to get a proper phone clamp. Anyway, so I went to this company's website and I thought, there you go, that's the thing I want, right? So, yeah, it spins around, portrait landscape. Yeah, brilliant, that'll do. Nice clamp, there you go, posh. So, name, for God's sake, here we go. Name, address, on and on and on, your mother's favourite cat's names, brother, on and on and on. And then, right at the end, it goes, okay, so put your email in, then it goes, this email's registered. This email's registered already. You can't have that. You think, no, I bought from this website 3 years ago, and now I can't get in. I can't get into the bloody thing. And then it'll say, well, choose a password. You think, not again. And what happened to me was, I went through the whole thing. I registered. Then it says email. No, this email already exists in our records. Have you logged in? Would you like to log in with your password? No, I don't know the password. And then I was like, forgotten your password? Yes, I have. And so then I go to do the thing, and then it says, sorry, timed out. The whole thing was timed out, and I had to start the whole sorry process all over again.
So what's your solution? What do you want? You just want an anonymous ability to enter a credit card and address.
Yes, make the first thing you type in. When you go in, you have to go fill out all the forms and then say, it seems like you've been here before. Like, the first question should be, are you registered with this website? Yes. All right, then. Well, you don't have to bother with any of this other stuff. That's what it should be.
Seriously, though, Bill Bailey, what was your mother's favourite cat?
Oh, well, it was a tiny little ginger Tom, actually. Alfred. It was a beautiful cat.
You're listening to the Sammy J Snack Pack. Yummy, yummy in my ear tummy.
Okay, I really like a debate. If you know me, you'll know I can't get enough of arguing with people. So I've invited author, podcaster, public speaker, and all-round good human Jamila Rizvi to discuss the big question. That is, whether or not the best Disney is sexist.
As you know, Sammy, something that is the best is something that is superior. It's an adjective that describes something that is excellent quality. And we all know that Disney is what is best known in this country. It is what is best loved. And there is a reason for that. It is because it is indeed the best. Now, sexism. Sexism includes prejudice or discrimination based on sex or gender, especially against women or girls. And I think it's very important to point out that this includes stereotyping, which takes me to the Renaissance era of Disney. Now, for definitional purposes, that's from 89 to 99. It includes Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, The Little Mermaid, and The Lion King.
If we do take those glory years, Little Mermaid, Aladdin and so on, I put to you that most of the sexism, in the spirit of this debate where you don't actually have to agree with what you're saying, is against the men. I mean, look at Little Mermaid. The main villain, Ursula, is a woman who wants to have the voice of a woman. She's empowered. She has her own agency. She plays Eric like a fiddle. Surely that's a pro-female position.
But Sammy, we're talking about a film where the female protagonist sacrifices seeing her family ever again and her literal voice to be with a man.
Okay, well, you win that bit. Okay, what about Beauty and the Beast? That poor beast is judged on his looks. It's objectifying the man. That's completely sexist towards men.
It also romanticizes Stockholm Syndrome. This is the story of how a girl is kidnapped by a monster for 6 months and then finally snaps and becomes infatuated with her tormentor.
Yeah, okay, I'm down. How about Aladdin? Aladdin being my favourite film of all time.
Oh, agreed.
Okay. It is not sexist in any way, despite the fact that, yes, Princess Jasmine being one of the main only female characters largely parades around in skimpy underwear for the entire movie and has not much agency.
Yeah, with close-ups on her boobs.
Sure. But, Jamila, you're not accounting for the fact that in the remake, they gave her then a new song called Speechless, which ironically gave her voice.
In the original Aladdin, Jasmine is viewed by her father as a tool for political success and by Aladdin as a trophy to be won. For 80 minutes of the 90-minute film, Aladdin lies to her and then she forgives him at the last minute. Why would she do that?
Do we even dare go to Pocahontas, Jamila Rizvi?
Oh, try me.
I put to you that Pocahontas is not a sexist film. It is actually largely a peaceful recreation of exactly how colonisation went down in America, where people got on well, and then a Native American woman brought the feuding tribes, that being Native Americans and the British, together peacefully and avoided the drums of war.
Well, I would argue that Pocahontas is intersectional in its hate. It's both sexist and racist, so it gets a sort of a double prize because you've got Pocahontas' father who thinks she needs a husband in order to be safe from harm. She's a little bit resilient. She goes out and she's like, nah, I'm not going to have any much of that. But in the end, she gives up all chance of romance with her colonizer to fulfill her motherly duty to her people, which might seem feminist and progressive, particularly because he was an invader, but it also perpetuates this idea that women can't have it all.
This is the Sammy J Snack Pack. Open with care.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the snack pack. Couple of more bites to go. Not sure if you've noticed, but there's a, what's the word? Pandemic going on at the moment. And it's been a pretty massive couple of weeks in my hometown of Melbourne. But every time I see someone being contact traced, I just freak out. I got little kids. Don't really do a lot, lockdown or no lockdown. So I thought I'd put that into a song for you. I got a call from the DHS and they said, yes, you've been selected as potentially infected. So we need to know your movements, how you spent your weekend, where you went with your friends 20 days ago. We want to know it all, so try hard to recall. And I said I went nowhere, I did nothing, I've got children, what you thinking? At 7 a.m. I had contact with my TV remote control as I switched on Paw Patrol and stumbled back to bed. Then 20 minutes later, they said, Dad, I want some breakfast. So I had some fleeting contact with a cereal bowl. And when they spilt it on the carpet, I had contact with an inner sense of rage. I suppressed it, but did not eliminate. And then on my hands and knees, I interacted with 97 rice bubbles. I didn't get their names. And there's a possible exposure site halfway up the hall, where I leant upon the wall and reminisced about my youth, as I dream of going out and rubbing up against a stranger, shaking hands with danger, and sharing dirty air. But I'm probably a decade now from that sort of behaviour. Until then I've got nothing to share, because I go nowhere, or I do nothing, or I've got children. What you thinking? Or I'm a servant to a 5 and 8 year old. You can contact trace my body, but you can't contact trace my soul. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, eh? The thing about lockdowns, of course, is a lot of stuff gets cancelled. And I found out there was a little 6-year-old girl called Mietta who had her 5th birthday cancelled in 2020 and then just had her 6th birthday cancelled in 2021. It broke my little black heart. And I'm speaking to her mum, Marissa. Marissa, how's the birthday girl going?
She is feeling pretty excited.
I understand Mietta's a big fan of Bluey.
She is.
Okay, well, look, we've done what we can to just put a little smile on her face this morning. Are you happy to put it onto the phone for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Marissa.
Hi.
Hey, is that Mietta? We wanted to say a big happy birthday to you. How does it feel being 6 years old?
Good.
Nice one. I know it's a bit disappointing you didn't get to have a party this weekend. Were you going to have a few friends around?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you going to have your friend Mackenzie around?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I think we've got Mackenzie on the phone right now. Mackenzie, are you there?
Yeah.
How you going?
I'm good.
My name's Sammy. I'm on the radio and I've got your friend Mietta here as well. Would you like to say something to her?
Happy birthday. Thank you.
Mackenzie, what's the best thing about Mietta? Why do you like being her friend?
Because she's always funny and kind to me.
Oh, are you really funny and kind, Mietta?
Yeah.
Nice one. Hey, Mietta, I understand you're a big fan of Bluey. Do you like the show Bluey?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's heaps of people who have to work on that show. There are people who do illustrations for it, who write the stories, who do the music, and there are also people who have to do the voices. Do you know the character Bandit?
Yeah.
Who's Bandit?
Who's dad?
Yeah, Bandit's Bluey's dad. Well, the man who does the voice of Bandit is Dave McCormack. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Sam.
How you going?
I'm going good. I'm happy to be involved in this party. We got everyone here. The birthday girl, Mackenzie. Wow.
My gosh.
Great.
It's pretty exciting, Dave. What would you like to say to Mietta on her 6th birthday today?
Oh, Mietta, I'm so bummed out your party's not happening. But look, you got Mackenzie on the phone and you're going to have a good... Can I sing you happy birthday?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Mietta. Happy birthday to you. Happy 6th birthday, Mietta. You're going to have a great day.
Good on you, Dave. Bless you, buddy.
No worries.
Thanks
Happy
so
birthday,
much.
Mietta. Happy birthday, Marissa. You're a great mum. I know that
thank
for a
you.
fact.
We're big fans. Thanks so much. That's really sweet.
No worries.
Thank you for
Have a
doing
good day.
You've made her day very, very special.
You're listening to the Sammy J Snack Pack.
Well, we're told not to mix religion and politics in Australia, but it seems to be creeping in lately, particularly after Prime Minister Scott Morrison addressed the Australian Christian Churches Conference. But not all our leaders have been as forthcoming, so I thought I'd speak to the voice of God himself, Barry Cassidy, about when and how our politicians have chosen to deploy their faith.
Generally, I think people respect the fact that some people have religious beliefs and they feel strongly about that. Having said that, though, I think the issue really is for the politician or for the Prime Minister of the day to be clear about that, clear about, on policy formulation, for example, that they do make up their minds as an individual or as a party member, a member of the government, not as a member of a church that has certain beliefs and teachings. And if in some way they take into account those particular beliefs, then I think the electorate is entitled to know. It's difficult. It's difficult to know what's in their thinking. I mean, how can you possibly know? You're entitled to ask and then and get an answer. But how do you know? How do you know whether Tony Abbott, for example, it was his beliefs, church beliefs, when he opposed the abortion bill, or Scott Morrison when he was uncomfortable about same-sex marriage? I guess the only way you can know is to ask, and I think the media is entitled to at least do that.
And I mean, it's absurd for anyone of any faith to be told that they can't use their faith to influence their thoughts, opinions, and indeed policies, I guess. But as you say, it's the transparency is the key thing. I think about Kevin Rudd doing doorstops regularly when he was Prime Minister outside his church, which I think was a very purposeful or calculated public image decision.
It was, though you have to keep in mind that when that most often happened was that when they got together as Parliament resumed each year, and he wasn't the only leader to have done that because it was convenient for them. It was convenient to come out of the church, the media would be there and they'd do a doorstop. But even so, I just think the whole the religious notion can be exaggerated because I think religion is far less relevant than the character of the individual, the trust, the honesty and the compassion. And where they've got to be careful, of course, because, the electorate can be rather unforgiving at times. And that's when the potential for hypocrisy sneaks in, that if they openly display their religion and yet you make the judgment that they lack compassion in other areas, I think that's an area where politicians need to be careful.
I'm chatting to Barry Cassidy now on the subject of religion and politics, the two things that are not meant to be discussed at the dinner table apparently, and yet rear their heads in public life so regularly, and indeed over the past century. We didn't have any Muslim members of Parliament. That, of course, has now changed, and that presents a whole different challenge to those members, as I understand it, from how they're going to present their faith in public. Yes,
well, Ed Husick from the Labor Party is a Muslim, Anne Alley, but then you have Josh Frydenberg from the Jewish faith. Look, it's what always gives me some pleasure is the fact that Ed Husick and Josh Frydenberg are on different sides of the aisle, and yet they're very good friends. Look, I think it would be difficult from the Muslim faith, or indeed from the Jewish faith, or even just Chinese generally, to be elected to the Parliament unless they have quite a strong presence in their electorate. But once they get established, then they're judged for all sorts of other achievements, and the religious thing becomes less relevant. But you talked about how these kind of conversations shouldn't happen around religion. One area where it should be happening, and that is within the Liberal Party. Where we really saw, I think, direct impact of it was in Western Australia, where candidates for pre-selection actually talked about being the voice of God. Now, they were reduced to 2 seats, the Liberal Party in Western Australia, for all sorts of other reasons. But this incursion from the religious right was a factor internally. It affected morale. It affected I think the older membership within the Liberal Party. They accept religion, and I think most people do, some don't, but most people do. It's religious zealotry that's the problem. And when membership is low across political parties, it really is, across all major political parties, so they are vulnerable to power grabs. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one area of concern for the Liberal Party in particular.
Barry, I will say on the subject of the voice of God, though, you would play a great voice of God if required.
Well, look, if you're doing a sketch along those lines, I'm only too happy to step up and play God for you.
Oh my gosh, we did it, guys. We made it to the end of my first podcast. That is, if you're still listening, which technically you are. So for everyone else who isn't, you're dead to me. Huge thanks to Ross Kavanagh, my sound wizard, pushing the buttons, and thanks to you all for giving this a shot. If you like it, if you'd like another snack next week, make sure you mark this as a favourite in the ABC Listen app, and then a new episode will land every Thursday. If you want to tell your friends, even better. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm on my own podcast and I'm telling you to tell your friends. I never thought this would happen, but here we are. Have a great week ahead. Hey, sorry, I'm enjoying this too much. I'm still here. Matty Y, welcome to Sammy J.
We used to work at a restaurant, and there was 3 Matts. First I became Matt Y. It became Matty Y. And then all of a sudden, I was just, whenever you walk in, someone's, oh, Matty Y. How you going, Matty Y? It became Matty Y. It was Matty Y. Or Matty Y's in the house. Oh, Matty Y. You know what I mean? So...
Hey, Matty, so it's taken you 18 months to call in. I've got to ask one question, of course, which is, Matty, why?
You've been munching on the Sammy J Snack Pack. Clean yourself up.